Kaylara ran through the forest, her breathing sharp, her chest burning with pain. Blood soaked her side, and her armor was cracked and smoking. She didn't know where she was, only that it wasn't her home planet. Her ship had been hit, falling through fire and wind until she crashed into this strange green world. She heard no familiar voices, no commands, no signals, only birds calling in the trees and wind rushing through tall leaves. Everything was quiet, too quiet that scared her more than the battlefield. She had fought many wars. Kaylara was not just a soldier. She was a warrior of the Zyrene feared across galaxies. But now, she was hunted, wounded, and alone. Her enemy had followed her even here, to this unknown blue world. She stumbled forward, her legs barely moving, her vision blurred, colors mixing together. She leaned on a tree, trying to stay standing. Every part of her body hurt. Her arm was broken. Her skin burned. Her heart, once proud, was now weak. "I won't die like this," she whispered, but her voice was shaky. She pulled herself through bushes, searching for cover. Something, anything. She found a large rock and collapsed behind it. Her body gave up. Her mind wanted to fight, but her body was too tired. She could feel her blood soaking into the soil, warm and fast. Memories flashed in her mind, her home, her mother's voice, her warrior oath, and the last battle, the explosion, the betrayal, the crash, and now. She looked up at the night sky, stars shining down. Her people might never know what happened to her. They would think she died in battle. And maybe that was true. She had given her all. There was no strength left to fight. Her hand opened, dropping the small silver blade she always carried. Her fingers were cold. Her eyes began to close. Not from sleep, but from the end. She took one last breath, deep and slow. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I tried." Then everything went black. The first thing she felt was warmth. It confused her. She expected cold and pain, or nothing at all, but there was softness under her body. A blanket maybe, a pillow behind her head. And the air smelled clean like fresh wood and something sweet. Kaylara opened her eyes slowly, blinking at the soft light above. A ceiling made of wood, strange and simple, not metal like a starship. She moved her hand, and pain shot through her arm, but she was alive. Her chest rose and fell. She was breathing. Her skin had been cleaned, bandaged with care, not rough like a soldier would do. She heard a sound, like footsteps. She looked toward the noise. Her heart beat faster. A human entered the room. He was tall, with short dark hair and kind brown eyes. He held a bowl of something warm in his hands. When he saw her eyes open, he stopped. "You're awake," he said softly, surprised but gentle. "I wasn't sure you'd make it." Kaylara tried to sit up, but pain held her down. She winced. "Hey, don't move," the human said quickly, setting the bowl down and walking over. "You're still healing. You lost a lot of blood." She stared at him, not speaking, not trusting. Her people told stories about humans primitive, soft, not to be taken seriously, but this one had saved her. He reached for a cup of water and held it out. "Here, drink." She hesitated, then took the cup slowly. Her hands shook, but she drank. The water felt like life flowing back into her. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice weak. "I'm Jack," he said, sitting on the edge of the bed. "I found you in the woods. You were barely breathing. Armor melted. I thought you were some kind of cosplayer until I saw the blood." Kaylara didn't understand the word cosplayer, but she understood one thing: this man had saved her when he didn't have to. "I'm Kaylara," she said quietly, "warrior of the Zyrene." Jack nodded. "Well, warrior Kaylara, you're safe now. No one's going to hurt you here." Kaylara looked at the window, trees swaying outside. A bird flew past, chirping loudly. For the first time in many cycles, she felt something she hadn't felt during the war. Peace. Asterisk, Kylara's eyes slowly scanned the room again. It was small, but warm. The walls were made of wood. The air smelled like pine and something sweet, maybe food. A soft light came from a lamp near the bed, not like the harsh lights on warships. She wasn't in a cell. There were no chains, no guards, just quiet. Jack sat in a chair beside her, reading something made of paper so different from the glowing screens she knew. He looked up when he noticed her watching. "You need anything?" He asked kindly, "Are you in pain?" Kylara shook her head slowly. "Just confused," he smiled. "I guess that's normal. You crash into the woods from space, and next thing you know, you're in some stranger's cabin." "Not exactly." "A soft landing." Kylara didn't smile back. She wasn't sure she could trust him yet. Her training told her to stay alert, to expect betrayal. But something in his voice made her pause. It was gentle, not fake. "Why did you help me?" she asked suddenly. "Jack set the paper down because you were dying. That's it. No reward." She asked, "No favor in return?" He shook his head. "Nope. Just didn't want to see someone die right in front of my cabin." Kylara looked away. Her people rarely helped without reason. In her world, favors always came with price. But this human, he didn't ask for anything. She tried to sit up again, groaning in pain. Her side was still wrapped in cloth, but the bleeding had stopped. "You stitched me?" she asked. Jack nodded. "Yeah, it wasn't easy. Your skin is different, tougher. In some places, softer, and others took a bit of guesswork. But I've fixed worse. I used to work rescue missions. Back on Earth." Kylara looked at him closely. "You're not a soldier." "Not anymore," he said. "I used to help people during storms, earthquakes, stuff like that. Now I live here, quiet life. Far from cities." Kylara blinked. That explained the calmness, the steady hands, and the peaceful home. It was strange. Peaceful for a galaxy at war. Suddenly, a sound echoed outside, distant, high-pitched, unnatural. Kylara froze, her eyes locked on the window. "That sound?" she whispered. "That's a recon drone." Jack stood up quickly. "A what?" "Enemy search drone," she said, trying to rise. "They're still hunting me." Jack rushed to the window and peeked outside. He didn't see anything, but the sound grew louder for a moment before fading again. "You're sure?" he asked. "Yes," she said firmly. "They'll sweep this area. They never give up, not until their target is dead." Jack nodded, his face turning serious. "Then, we'll hide you. I've got a storm shelter underground. No signal goes in or out from there. You'll be safe." Kylara stared at him. "You would risk your life?" Again, "Yeah," he said. "It's kind of my thing, apparently." She didn't understand him completely, but she stood slowly, her legs weak. Jack grabbed her arm gently to steady her. She allowed it, something she wouldn't have done. Days ago, they moved carefully through the small house, past shelves full of books and photos. Kylara noticed one picture. It showed Jack standing beside an old woman and a young girl, all smiling, all human. "Your family?" she asked. "Yeah," he said softly. "Gone now. A fire years ago. I was the only one who made it." Kylara said nothing, but the pain in his eyes was real. She knew that kind of loss. He led her to a trapdoor hidden beneath a rug. It opened. 2 wooden stairs leading underground, cool and dark. "This is the safest place I've got," he said, helping her down. "It's not fancy, but it's hidden. I used to use it during storms." The room below was simple concrete walls, a small bed, and old supplies stacked neatly on shelves. Kylara sat down, breathing heavily. Jack lit a lantern and handed her a blanket. "I'll stay close, if anything moves outside, I'll know." She looked at him again, her sharp alien eyes now softer. "You don't have to do this, Jack." "Maybe not," he replied. "But I'm not going to stop now." Kylara closed her eyes for a moment, not from pain this time, but from deep thought. This human, this stranger, had done more for her than any commander, soldier, or medic in her own army. She wasn't used to kindness. Not without conditions. For the first time since the war began, she felt something strange inside her chest. Hope. The underground shelter was quiet. Only the soft sound of the lantern flame flickering in the corner. Kylara sat on the bed, her hands resting on her knees. Her wounds still hurt, but the fear inside her heart was starting to change. She watched Jack as he moved around the small room. He checked the old battery-powered scanner and adjusted the signal blockers, making sure no drone could find them. "You don't trust easily, do you?" Jack asked, breaking the silence. Kylara looked at him with serious eyes. "I can't afford to." He gave a small smile. "Yeah. I guess war does that to people. Or aliens." She didn't laugh, but she didn't look away either. Her body was recovering slowly, but her mind stayed alert. She still didn't understand why this human was helping her. There was no logic, no strategy, no reward. "Where I'm from," Kylara said slowly, "no one helps without expecting something in return. We trade favors, not kindness." Jack sat on a small crate across from her. "Well, Earth can be like that too. But I've seen too much pain in my life to add more to it." He picked up a small photo from his pocket and handed it to her. Kylara took it carefully. It showed a little girl with wild hair and a bright smile, standing next to Jack. "My daughter," he said, voice low. "She died in the fire with her mother. I couldn't save them." Kylara stared at the photo. Her strong warrior heart felt a sharp pain knot from her wounds, but from something deeper. She handed the photo back gently. "I'm sorry," she said. "Thanks," he replied softly. "After that, I left everything behind. I came here to live in peace, far away from the world." They sat in silence again. But this time, it wasn't uncomfortable. It felt like something was beginning to form between them, not trust yet, but understanding. Kylara shifted slightly. Wincing, Jack noticed and walked over. He knelt beside her and checked the bandages. "You heal fast," he said, "much faster than a human." "We're trained for that," she replied. "Modified bodies, stronger cells, but it still hurts." Jack laughed lightly. "Pain is pain, no matter the species." She tilted her head. Studying him, "You're strange, Jack, you're not." "Afraid of me? Not even a little. I've seen worse things than a warrior with claws and glowing eyes." He joked. "Besides, you're not the one flying drones over my house." Kylara gave a small smile. The first real one. Her sharp teeth glinted slightly. But her eyes were softer now. "You remind me of someone," she said. "A friend I lost in the war. He was brave like you. He died saving others." Jack looked down. "Sounds like someone worth remembering." "He was," she whispered, suddenly. The scanner beeped once, just once, then went silent. Both of them froze. Jack grabbed it quickly. Staring at the small, blinking light. "Something passed nearby," he said. "Signal's weak, though." "Maybe just a scout." Kylara stood, ignoring the pain. "They're getting closer. If they find me here, they'll destroy everything." Jack stepped in front of her. "You're not leaving. You don't understand," she said firmly. "They'll burn this place to the ground just to erase me, and I don't care," Jack said sharply. "You're safe here. With me. I won't let them take you." Kylara stared at him, shocked. No one had ever said that to her, not her commanders, not her fellow warriors, not even her family. "You would die for me?" she asked. "I almost did, dragging you out of that forest," he said with a smirk. "So yeah, I guess I would." Something inside Kylara shifted. The wall she had built for so long began to crack. Her claws slowly retracted. Her posture relaxed. "Just slightly. I'm not used to this, she said quietly. I don't know how to. Be like this. Jack stepped closer. Then we figure it out together. Kylara sat back down slowly, her mind spinning. This was not a mission. This was not strategy. This was something else, something more human than she ever imagined. She looked around the shelter again, then looked at Jack for the first time. She didn't see a stranger. She saw someone worth trusting. Asterisk, the morning was quiet, too quiet. Kylara stood near the small window of the cabin, her eyes scanning the tree line. The scanner had been silent all night. But her instincts told her something was wrong. She had lived through too many battles to trust silence. Jack was outside, chopping wood. His arms moved with rhythm. Focused but calm, Kylara watched him closely. It was strange how natural he looked, so human, so peaceful. She wished she could feel that peace. But her past was not done with her inside the house. Kylara walked to the corner where her armor had been placed. Jack had cleaned the metal, tried to repair some of the damage. Her chest plate still had the crack from the crash, and her helmet was scorched. But it was part of her identity, a reminder of who she was. She picked up the broken CUM device from the pile. Its core was shattered, but the signal chip was still inside. She turned it over in her hands. Then an idea struck her. Jack. She called out from the door, "Come here. I need your help." He came quickly, wiping sweat from his forehead. "What's up?" "I need tools," she said. "Wires, heat source, anything you have." He looked confused, but nodded. "I've got an old repair kit. Let me grab it." Within minutes, Kylara was working at the kitchen table. Jack handed her tools one by one. She used sharp claws and steady fingers to reconnect the signal chip to an old radio circuit from Jack's storage. "What are you trying to do?" he asked. "Send a low-frequency distress signal," she replied. "My people. Maybe they're still out there. Maybe they'll come for me." Jack hesitated. "And if your enemies hear it first?" Kylara didn't stop working. "Then at least I'll stop hiding. I'm tired of running if war follows me. I'll face it." He watched her in silence, then placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "You're not alone this time." She looked up at him, their eyes meeting. "That's what I'm afraid of." Later that evening, the signal was ready. It was weak, hidden under Earth's natural frequencies. But it might reach someone, somewhere. They turned it on. Hours passed. Nothing happened. Kylara sat by the fire while Jack made dinner. The smell of cooking filled the room, something she had never experienced in her war-bound life. Suddenly, the scanner beeped twice. Kylara jumped to her feet, her eyes locked on the device. "They heard it," she whispered. "Someone's coming." Jack looked up. Friend or enemy? Kylara didn't answer. Her heart pounded in her chest. "I don't know." They quickly went to the underground shelter again. Kylara took her weapon damaged but still usable. Jack grabbed a hunting rifle he rarely touched. Together, they waited. The scanner picked up movement, something fast, approaching from above. Kylara's breath caught in her throat. Then she heard it. The voice, it came through the static of the broken CUM. "Zyrene Uniforth, this is Commander Vecron." The voice crackled, cold and strong. "Kylara, if you are alive, surrender now. You are wanted for desertion and treason." Kylara's hands turned into fists. "Vecron," she whispered. "I knew he'd come." Jack's eyes widened. "That's the one who betrayed you." She nodded. "He sold our location to the enemy during the last battle. Many of my sisters died because of him. He blamed me to cover his crime." Jack gritted his teeth. "Then he's not here to save you. He's here to kill you," Kylara looked at the scanner again. 3 ships, no help, only death. Jack touched her arm gently. "What do we do?" She stood tall, eyes sharp, voice steady. "We fight, but you're not strong enough yet." Jack protested. "I don't need to be strong," she replied. I just need to be ready. Jack gave her a look of worry, but nodded. Then, I'll stand with you. They moved quickly, setting up traps around the property. Kylara used her alien tech tripwires, sonic mines, and signal jammers. Jack added old hunting tricks, hidden nets, sharp stakes, and oil on the ground. It wasn't much, but it was all they had. As the sun set, Kylara stood at the door of the cabin. Her broken armor strapped to her chest, her blade in hand. Jack stood beside her, rifle loaded. She turned to him and said, "If I fall, run. You don't have to die for me." Jack shook his head. "I'm not running. Not again." The sky above darkened as shadows moved in from the trees. Red lights blinked in the distance. Ghosts from the war had come, but this time Kylara would not face them alone. Night fell like a blanket of fear. The wind stopped. The forest was still. Kylara stood at the edge of the cabin, her blade in hand. Her armor barely held together, but her spirit was strong again. Jack stood beside her, gripping his rifle. His hands shook a little, but his eyes were focused. Ready? He had never fought in a war before, but tonight he had something worth protecting. Suddenly, a flash of red light lit the sky, then a blast of energy hit the ground near the cabin. Dirt flew everywhere. Kylara pulled Jack behind cover. "They've started," she said calmly. "They're trying to scare us first." Jack peeked through the trees. "How many?" "3 enemy soldiers, maybe more in orbit," she answered. "Vecron will come last. He always lets others die first." Jack nodded. "Coward?" Kylara smirked. "Exactly." The first soldier stepped into view, tall, armored in black, metal with red eyes glowing. He raised his weapon, scanning the area. Kylara clicked a small remote. A sonic mine exploded near his feet. The blast didn't kill him, but it knocked him into a tree hard. His body hit the ground, unmoving. "That's one," Jack said, surprised. "Nice trap." Kylara didn't respond. Her eyes were already searching for the second one. She could hear the faint buzz of their boots over tech that hummed low in the night. The second soldier came from the side, leaping onto the roof of the cabin. Jack raised his rifle and fired. The shot hit the roof, but the soldier rolled and jumped down behind them. Kylara turned fast, her blade slicing through the air. The alien ducked, then attacked. They clashed blades and fists. Kylara fought like fire, fast and fierce. Her wounds burned, but she didn't stop. Jack grabbed a piece of wood and swung it hard, hitting the soldier from behind. That gave Kylara the moment she needed. Her blade found the weak spot in the armor, and the enemy dropped. Breathing hard, she looked at Jack. "Not bad for a soft human." He laughed a little. "I'm full of surprises." Then came the voice, cold and sharp, carried by a speaker. "Drone floating above the trees, Kylara," it said. "I see you still breathe, still fighting for nothing." Kylara growled. "Vecron, I gave you a chance once." The voice continued. "You refused to obey. You chose weakness. Now you'll die for it." "I chose truth." She shouted back. "You betrayed us all. No one will remember your truth." Vecron replied, "Only your death." The last soldier dropped from the trees, bigger, stronger. He moved faster than the others. Kylara barely blocked his first strike. Jack aimed and fired, but the blast only scratched his armor. Kylara and the enemy fought in a blur of movement. His strength was crushing. Kylara was fast but injured. Each hit she took made her legs weaker, her vision blurry. Jack ran to help but was thrown aside. He hit the ground hard, coughing. His rifle was broken. The enemy raised his weapon to finish Kylara. She fell to her knees, blood on her lips. Her blade was knocked away. "Now it ends." The soldier growled, but then bang, a loud crack echoed through the trees. The soldier stumbled, looking down at his chest. Jack stood behind him, holding a flare gun he had forgotten was in his emergency kit. The flare burned hot, melting into the armor. The soldier screamed and fell back. Motionless, Kylara looked up at Jack, her eyes wide. You saved me. He smiled through the pain. Told you I wasn't running. She pushed herself up. Grabbing her blade, Vecron is next. Jack coughed. Can you still fight? I will fight, even if I have to crawl, she said firmly. From the dark sky, a small ship lowered into the trees, lights blinking red and blue. Vecron stepped out, his armor shining, his eyes cold. Kylara stood straight, covered in blood and dirt. Her blade ready. No more running. Vecron, no more lies. He looked at her with disgust. You chose death, Kylara, and now you'll get it. Jack stood beside her, even without a weapon. You'll have to go through both of us, Vecron sneered. So be it. The final battle was about to begin. The forest held its breath. Vecron stepped forward. Calm and powerful. His armor glowed dark red under the soft moonlight. His face was sharp eyes, full of hatred. He carried a heavy energy blade, humming with deadly light. Kylara stood tall, though her legs trembled, her wounds burned. But she would not fall, not now. Jack was beside her, his shirt torn, his hands scraped. But he didn't back down. You are weak, Vecron said, looking at Kylara. You fight beside a human, a soft creature from a backwater planet. Kylara's voice was firm. He saved me when you left me to die. That makes him stronger than you'll ever be. Vecron raised his weapon, then he will die first. With a roar, he charged, his blade swung down like thunder. Jack jumped back just in time. Falling to the side, Kylara met the strike with her own blade, metal clashing loud in the night. They fought hard, blade to blade, step to step. Kylara blocked, dodged, countered. But Vecron was stronger. His strikes were like fire fast, angry, full of hate. Jack crawled to a nearby rock and picked up a small piece of metal, sharp and jagged. He wasn't strong enough to fight like them, but he wasn't useless. He waited for his chance. Vecron knocked Kylara backward, her blade flying from her hand. She hit the ground, gasping. Blood ran from her shoulder. Her fingers dug into the dirt. You were always beneath me. Vecron said, walking closer. Even as a soldier, I saw it. You were too soft, too kind. Kylara spat blood and glared up at him. Kindness isn't weakness, Vecron. You're too blind to see that. He raised his blade to strike but Jack through the sharp metal with all his strength. It hit Vecron in the side of the head, bouncing off his helmet. It didn't hurt him much, but it was enough to turn his attention. Vecron snarled, turning to Jack. You filthy insect. Jack braced for the attack, knowing he couldn't outrun it, but Kylara wasn't done. With a shout from deep within, she leaped forward. Grabbing her blade and spinning fast, she slashed across Vecron's leg. The armor cracking under her force, he screamed and stumbled. She didn't stop. Strike after strike, she moved like lightning, pain forgotten. Every blow was for her sisters, her people, for truth, and for the human who believed in her. Vecron tried to block, but she was too fast now, too fierce. Her final strike hit him in the chest. His armor split, sparks flying. He dropped to one knee. You don't deserve power. She growled. You only know fear. Vecron looked up, his eyes full of rage and disbelief. You were nothing. I am a warrior, she said, raising her blade, but I am also more. With one last cry, she struck down. Her blade pierced his armor fully. Vecron gasped down, then fell still. The forest was silent again. Kylara dropped her weapon and fell to her knees, shaking. Her arms were bloody, her breathing heavy. Jack rushed to her, holding her close. You did it, he whispered. It's over. She leaned against him, her heart beating fast. I almost gave up. But then I saw you, standing with me, that gave me strength. Jack smiled. Guess I'm good for something. She looked into his eyes, her voice soft. You gave me more than help. Jack, you reminded me who I am. You reminded me I'm alive, Jack. Held her tighter, and you reminded me that being human isn't just about blood or species. It's about heart, and you have more heart than most humans I know. Above them, the night sky began to clear. The stars shined brighter, as if the universe itself had taken a breath of peace. Kylara looked up at them, her face calm now. Maybe? I don't belong in the war anymore, Jack nodded. Then stay. We'll find a new way, together. She didn't answer right away, but her eyes said it all. The warrior had fought her last battle, but her journey wasn't over. The next morning was quiet. Birds chirped in the trees, and sunlight spilled across the broken ground where the final battle had taken place. The forest felt different, now lighter, peaceful. Kylara stood at the edge of the clearing, her armor torn, her wounds wrapped. She watched the sun rise over the hills, something she never thought she'd see again. Her heart beat steady, not from fear, but from calm. Jack walked out of the cabin with 2 cups of something warm. You're up. Early, he said. Kylara turned to him, a small smile on her lips. Couldn't sleep. I keep thinking. It should feel like a dream. He handed her a cup, but it's real. She took a sip, the warmth running through her like peace. I should be gone, my people. They'll come looking for me. Maybe they already are. Jack looked at her, his eyes steady. Then what will you do? Kylara looked at the sky. I've always known war, always followed orders, even when they felt wrong. But now, I feel something different. Freedom. Jack asked. She nodded. Yes, and fear too, but not the kind from enemies. The kind that comes when you have to choose your own path. Jack walked closer, standing beside her. You don't have to decide today. Just then, a soft beeping came from the scanner. Kylara rushed inside to check. The signal was clear. Syrian fleet approaching low orbit. Not an attack, but a message. She opened the channel and a calm voice spoke. Kylara, of Unit 17. This is Commander. Ilari, we received your distress signal. We tracked the rogue Vekran and his men to your location. Are you alive? Kylara pressed the button slowly. Yes, I am alive. Vekran is dead. His lies are finished. There was silence on the other end for a moment. Then the voice said, Understood. Your bravery will be reported to the council. A ship is ready to bring you home, if you choose. Kylara stood still, the device in her hand. Jack watched her from the doorway, not saying a word. She turned off the signal. I told them I'm alive, she said. But I didn't say I'm coming back, Jack. Stepped forward. You're not going. She looked at him, her eyes full of something deep and soft. I don't know if I belong with them anymore. I've changed. They may see me as broken, but here, I feel like I can grow. Jack nodded. You don't have to run anymore, Kylara. You've already proven who you are. She walked back outside, standing on the porch with him. So what happens now? Jack grinned. Well, I could use some help fixing the roof you crashed through. Kylara laughed, a rare, quiet sound. Deal. They spent the next days rebuilding the cabin. Kylara moved slowly at first, but her strength returned. She no longer wore armor, only soft clothes Jack had given her. She helped cook, plant vegetables, and even learned how to split firewood. Every day, the forest felt more like home. One evening, as they sat near the fire, Jack looked at her and said, Do you miss it? The life you left. Kylara thought for a moment. I miss the ones I lost. I miss the stars, but I don't miss the fighting. I don't miss being a tool for someone else's power. Jack nodded. Then maybe this is where you were meant to be. She reached out, touching his hand. Maybe you were too. He looked at her, his voice soft. You saved me too. You know, I was just surviving before you came. Now? I feel alive again, Kylara smiled. Then we saved each other, as the stars filled the night sky. Kylara looked up not with sadness, but with peace. She had found a new kind of strength. Not in weapons, but in trust, in healing, in love. She had closed her eyes to die, but she woke up in a human's bed, and that was not the end. It was just the beginning.